Okay, so now we're going to complete the walking belief change that we began yesterday. We did the demonstration. Now I just want to refresh your memory around the technique so that you can go and have a positive experience with it. So you've got some new questions that we just delivered around elicitation. So you're going to use those to begin the process to find the current belief that you want to work with. Today I expect that you'll be able to do that a little quicker than you did yesterday. Yesterday you were kind of exploring, and today you have a greater sense as to what you're looking for. What a belief is and how it works, whether it's a cause-effect or a complex equivalence or a presupposition that you're holding. So, once you find the current belief, let's look at our notes. Number 3, identify the current belief about yourself that limits you in some way. So that's the elicitation process. Once you have identified it, you have the person stand in the meta position and then step to that belief and experience it. So this is kind of that, how does this belief function question that we had up on the board earlier. Because as they step into it, they can begin to describe for you how this belief is experienced in their body. What do they see in there? What do they hear? Do they talk to themselves? What's going on in this space? Yeah? And then step back out. Now in your notes it says identify what you would rather believe, your preferred belief. So you can do that from this space if you like. Or, as I did it in the demonstration, I just waited till we got here. And then I did it from this space. So, in your notes, it states to do it over there. And you can do it over there. Either way will work. Will work just fine. Okay? So the first pass, remember, through this, is just establishing anchors for each of these spaces. So then I move to this space. I might first talk to them a little bit about what open to doubt means here. So they can begin to get an idea of something that they have believed and they're beginning to go, I'm open to doubting whether that's true or not. So they can begin to experience what that's like and then step into that space and describe what that space is like. So Jennifer had some kind of asymmetry movements. Or Georgie, sorry, had some movements like that. She had some internal dialogue that was going on. I wonder, I'm not quite sure whether that's true or not, those kinds of things. So you're looking for that kind of experience for the person, something that's asymmetrical, something that maybe has some dialogue that's in question, that has a questioning tone. And then some feelings, looking for the feelings that are kind of not fully congruent that it's true, but questioning kind of feelings, kind of a back and forth kind of experience. So you're kind of looking for that. Step back out. Begin to talk about what the Museum of Old Beliefs is over here. So the museum is a place where you have stored all the beliefs that you used to have, that you've changed over the years. That some change naturally for you, and some change through discovery, through reading. Some beliefs change because somebody told you something new that you hadn't heard before. And a lot of those beliefs are stored in that space. And to begin to create a representation of that space. So that then when they step into it, they can see here in this space how they store their beliefs. What does this place look like? What does this museum look like? Okay? Questions about that first bit? Okay, so those are established. Once you have those spaces established, then you step into this meta position and you begin to look at, now where we're heading back, we want to know what you want to believe. What's the new belief that you want to consider believing? So in your notes, there's a page that says, I'm trying to remember what page that is. It's page 5 in your notes. It's this whole section on defining beliefs. There's one little piece that I want to make sure that I define for you since it's in here. And it's on number 3, because we've been over number 1 and number 2. Is everybody there? Mm-hmm. It says, down under C, how to construct a new belief. It says use parallel format. Basically what that means is, and it's fairly intuitive already, but I just want to make sure you understand, is that you want the belief structure of the new belief to be very similar and in parallel with the old belief. Does that make sense? Because you're replacing one with the other, so you want them to structurally be very similar. So you could look at the metaprograms of them and make sure the metaprograms match. Like if it's about people, if it's a belief about people, you want a new belief about people. With genes, we were using, it was a metaphoric belief, right? Life is an exploration. So we wanted to use a similar format. Life is something else that included his wife, right? An exploration of growth and love and growth. So that's really what that means, is to make sure the beliefs sort of line up together. Okay? You adjust it to make sure that the belief is congruent with that belief. Is going to be a replacement for that belief, not something that's entirely different. Because it's less likely to, right, to sink in.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense to everybody?
The way I take it is that, let's just use belief X over there is the old belief, and belief Y over here is the new belief.
Yeah.
But belief Y does not want to be totally out of the context of
Exactly.
belief X.
Exactly.
Okay.
So parallel format means same context. If it's people-oriented, if it's metaphoric, use a metaphor again. If it's at the capability level, do a capability level new belief. Okay? Now, Georgie's was a capability level one, right? What was it again? I'm not creative enough. Okay. So we contextualized it, but it was still more identity level. And then we turned it into a capability because it's harder to do identity to identity. But the belief that we were using, I'm becoming more and more capable or able to be creative, creates the possibility that that belief can become an identity level belief, that I am creative in these situations. Right?
Can you add anything to that? Is there a value in believing the process rather than believing I'm already there? You talked about that a little bit with affirmations yesterday.
That's why I brought that up yesterday, is that if you attempt to sort of just change the belief from I'm stupid to I'm smart, there's an ecology concern there. That it's hard to just replace that with that, because they're both identity level statements and they're both they're entirely opposite. So that's why when we're creating a preferred belief, we want to create one that has the possibility of moving to that change. But making that change all at once is going to be difficult at best. It's like with the affirmations. If I go, I'm smart and I don't think that, then there's a part of me that negates that right away. But it's a lot easier to hear, I'm becoming smarter and smarter around this situation. I'm becoming more and more able.
Would it be more helpful more frequently to have a process rather than an outcome state?
Absolutely. I mean, that's part of that defining beliefs on that page. It says, in process form, not static. I am learning to, for example. I'm becoming more able. Make it in having movement or action, because then that creates action. You want to create action away from that belief to forming a new one, because all that one's been doing is holding me in a stuck place. So I want to create movement towards building a new belief. Because as we all know, if you've ever tried to go, I'm not smart enough, to I am smart enough, that's a pretty significant leap. Right. I'm not smart enough, and now I am. You know, it's a pretty big shift, right? Without any new evidence, without any practice, without any development of anything. You know, it's like trying to be, somebody has to prove it to you or something, you know, right? So that's why this is talked about in making it action-oriented, movement-oriented, process-oriented. Okay, so once I create this new belief, it's similar to that one in terms of context and metaprograms, and you know, it fits in parallel. Then, and it's action-oriented, and I've got that well established, then I step in and begin to imagine what it might be like to have that belief. So here's sort of a possibility for ecology, right? Are there any possibilities where this belief won't be functional, might cause more dysfunction, more unresourcefulness, and so on? Nope, feels good to me. Great, we've got that established. Step back out. Now, an experience that you're open to believing, something that you, that's a possibility for you, that you're not sure, but you'd like to find out. You're open to believing that it's true. Okay, and then establish that space. What's that like to experience being open to believing that something might be true? What are the submodalities? What are the representations, your visual? What do you hear? What do you feel? Okay? Establish that space. And it's helpful if you get some words there, because you're going to need the words to help stimulate that space when they get there. Rather than just stepping into open to believing, it's using your words to reference what they had said before. Okay? And then finally, what's something that you hold sacred? What's a belief that's a resource to you, that's a highly valued belief, and that is absolutely sacred to you, that you hold in a very deep place inside yourself? And then we step into that and experience that belief, experience the representations of that, the visuals, the auditory, the kinesthetic of this experience. And then when we've got that, then we step back here, and now we're ready to step into the current belief and take it through the process. The use of this one is to really help that belief to become solidified. Because this is just open to believing it's true. This is taking it into a space of something that I hold deeply inside myself as.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with the new belief. Those are your own beliefs that you believed and you never doubted.
Remember, this is just creating an anchor for something that you hold already as a belief.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you're trying to get a representation of something that you truly believe. So that when you take this preferred belief into that space, you're creating an experience of truly believing it. Does that make sense now?
And all this process we can do it conversational?
Absolutely.
Just from belief, doubt, belief?
Mm-hmm.
Shortcut?
Mm-hmm. Not necessarily a shortcut. Just because we say
Belief,
conversational,
doubt,
that's the structure. That doesn't mean that it's that simple or that it only takes that long. We still have to establish a belief getting to a doubt. And that could take a while to begin to doubt something that you've held. Okay. Let's focus on this for now.
We're just setting the anchors.
Yes.
When you come to anchor this side, you pick something other than the content they're going to actually work on. So
Where are you talking about?
the first cycle through, when you're setting the anchors,
Yeah, the only two spaces are what we're working on are those two.
and we're using the content we want to change.
In this one, it's the current belief that we're talking about changing.
Yes.
And in this space, it's the new one that we're talking about
Okay,
changing.
got it.
The other spaces,
Even when we're setting the anchors, we're using that content.
yes.
Oh, got it, okay,
This is not just any current belief.
right.
This is the one that we're working with. Because we want to, when we step back here, we want that to be here. Yes. Right? Okay. So it's just those two that are what we're currently working on. These are other experiences of being open to doubt about something, where we store our old beliefs, being open to believing something new, and something that we hold as a belief sacredly already.
Adam, just to confirm, clarify with you, the first round is really a familiarization and a creation of anchors.
Yes.
And that's the frame that we use.
Yep. It's bringing my own experience to these spaces. That's what establishing a spatial anchor is all about. So that what I'm doing is now, when I go through the experience, now I'm stepping into my current belief, and I'm going, I'm going to take this into my experience of doubt, which is already anchored in that space. So when I begin to step into that, I begin to experience that doubt space with that belief. So again, I'm not so interested now anymore in what I used to doubt. All I'm interested in is how I experience doubt. Because that's what I want to experience with that belief. Right? So I want to take this into my experience of doubt and begin to go, I wonder if that's really true. It's a possibility that it's not true. I'm open to considering that it's not true. Okay? And now I begin to think, when I've got that sort of in my body, then I begin to think about putting it away. Begin to go, maybe it's time to really put that belief away, and it's old software. It's old news. It doesn't work for me anymore. It's not functional anymore. So when I step here, I'm ready to put it away. Wherever it goes, on a shelf, in a file drawer, wherever you put it. Now, I've washed myself clean of my old belief. I've created a space where I'm open now to bringing in something new. I've already thought about what that is. It may have changed a little bit when I get here. That's okay, just refine it a little bit. Step in. Yeah, this is what I'd like to believe instead of that. I'm ready to believe this instead of that. So, are you open to believing it's true? Yeah. I'm starting to feel like, yeah, this could be true for me. And now, really considering, are you willing and ready to take it into a real belief, something that you hold as a real truism for yourself? Yeah, I'd really like to have that there. So, really take it into that space. And as the guide, you're reminding them of that space. You're reminding them of their experience of that space. Right? So they can really begin to feel what that's like in that space. And then, once you have that established, you can have them come back around, and now that is your new belief. So that's your current belief now. So it's transformed this space now, hasn't it? So that's where now the old belief is gone, and the new belief is now in the current belief space. That's
The first one is anchor, the second one is
that's just the end of the second phase. So it says here, the sacred space, stepping directly into the current belief location. So I can do that just like that. Feel your preferred belief as something you currently believe. And then if you need to ground it more, if it's still like a little uncertain, I can step back here, solidify it a little more, step back here again. So I can move back and forth in this space until I really establish a strong current belief. That's step 8. Step 9 is the test. Now think of what you currently believe and how is it different than it was. So in this space, the test is to really find out how might this new belief now manifest in your life, in the situations where you used to have that other belief. So the person should begin to answering how things are going to be different. And you want to listen for language like, well, it will be, it's going to be, that kind of thing. Yes, question.
So what we want to end up with is the preferred belief, we want to have it in the same place as firmly attached in our experience as the sacred thing that we do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily that it becomes a sacred belief, because sacred beliefs are sometimes a different category, but allowing the space of a sacred belief to help lock in the other one allows it to become solidified inside myself. You could do that too. If you want it to be sacred, that may happen too.
Otherwise, it will go back or disappear.
Well, it's all I'm saying is that, this for some people means only a few beliefs that they hold at that level. And so in that case, another belief that you're not really wanting to hold at that level will just be solidified by this space. If it is something that you're wanting to hold sacred, that can happen too. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions before you roll on this? So we're getting close to 10:30. We want to finish by noon. So we'll be working in groups of 2. And let's do 30 minutes to start. And then if we need a little extra, I'll add that on. 30 each. I don't think you can do it in 15, do you? Yeah. Yeah.
Just one more question about the sacred place.
Yes.
I kind of lost it for a moment there.
Yeah.
Can you define that once again?
Something that you hold already as a true and valued belief. Something that's deeply held by you.
Okay, so it's different than the two that we're working with.
Yes.
Okay.
When you establish this space, you're looking for something that is a belief that you really already hold deeply.
Already held true. A strong belief.
A strong belief that you already hold true for yourself. Could be about anything, about the world, about yourself. Okay? Rock and roll.